My regards. There is a global mass media consensus that Jude Bellingham is the new Real Madrid player. If he continues his performance in the way he started the first 14 matches, he is certainly one of the very strong candidates to win the Ballon d'Or. 13 goals in 14 matches made AS newspaper describe him as a legend hunter because he is chasing names like Stefano and Cristiano Ronaldo. What makes Bellingham's goals special and eye-catching is that they are not ordinary goals. Rather, they are decisive goals, which bring points and make the team a real contender for the league. He decided El Clásico himself with two different situations, one with individual ability and his amazing shot, and one with seizing the ball inside the penalty area. So what is the secret? Bellingham's brilliance made him appear much better than what we saw with Dortmund and England. He was great with Dortmund and England, but he was amazing with Real Madrid. Perhaps the secret is very simple in the way of reading what is happening on the field. We all remember Benzema with Real Madrid. He was the main player by receiving the ball in the third. The latter, and he was the player who played with his back to the goal, and we all remember when Real Madrid signed Bellingham. Some newspapers said that Ancelotti was thinking about making Bellingham the new role for Benzema, but people laughed at that, because the subject was unable to be imagined and it was not easy, but the difference between Bellingham and Benzema, which is quick and simple, is that Bellingham plays with his face to the goal, and this helps him always move forward. And from behind, he takes advantage of the space, taking advantage of the shape of the team. Bellingham, and in front of him are Rodrigo and Junior. Bellingham, the opposing players forget that he is a striker or that he actually plays as a striker in the final third, because he is in a line. The midfielder performs terrible roles, firstly defensively and offensively. Secondly, he passes 7.66 forward passes per match. This means that he enters the ball into the final third for distances at a high rate, higher than the average of all Central European players. He carries the ball and runs in the third 3.18 per match, and the number of carrying the ball this is equivalent to twice the average number of midfielders in Europe. During the match, Bellingham is a midfielder. When the ball approaches the penalty area, the opponents are surprised that he has become an attacker. What happens during the match with Rodrigo and Junior is that they move and try to take a one-on-one position on the sides, one on the right, one of the left, and the defenders are busy with them because Junior is bad with the ball and dribbling. And Rodrigo can do extraordinary things sometimes, so with this movement of the defense to monitor them suddenly a space appears. And here is Bellingham's terrible power that we saw with Dortmund and with England, and it increased in Real Madrid. He enters suddenly and takes advantage. Space, and with his good accuracy in shooting and success in some situations, he always scores, and all of this made people say that Bellingham is an imaginary striker with new functions, because the imaginary striker's main role is to move back, hold the ball, play for a while, and appear as if he is a playmaker, and the wings in his team benefit from creating the space that appears when he pulls the defenders, but Bellingham does the opposite. He is the one who takes advantage of the space created by the wingers, which confirms that Bellingham plays in the final third as a striker, not a midfielder. His average of touching the ball inside the penalty area is 4.26, while the average of other midfielders in Europe is far away. We are talking about only 1.37 times, which means 3 times the average rate for the attackers, which is 5.1. This means that Bellingham is statistically closer to the striker than the midfielder in touching the ball inside the penalty area. In the midfield, his statistics are better than the midfielders, and this creates a state of confusion among the opponents. Who are you and what are you doing? Okay, the matter is clear. Rodrigo goes to the right, Junior goes to the left and becomes in a space to enter. Why are the clubs not yet accustomed to that? There are several reasons. Firstly, Bellingham is a smart player. He does not exaggerate in using this movement to use the space and take advantage of it. When he is seen being marked, he does not move. He remains a midfielder, and here the opponent is a little more comfortable and suddenly leaves, moving towards the penalty area. For this space. When the opportunity is almost certain, and it can be taken advantage of. Secondly, Junior and his characteristics. Because of this, I always believe that Bellingham's idea will succeed in big matches only with Junior's presence. This is because when Junior goes to the left, you cannot monitor him with one defender. You know what Junior will do with one-on-one, and you have to monitor him with a second one. You are forced to comfort Junior because if you allow him playing one-on-one will cause you misfortune instead of Bellingham, even if the opponent thinks otherwise. The midfielders who watch Bellingham escape include Kroos and Valverde, who also have important and distinctive attacking roles, and this makes us understand that Bellingham's development with Real Madrid is not a coincidence and not because of Bellingham, but rather because of the quality around him is Junior and Rodrigo and their advantages, as well as Kroos and Valverde and their abilities, or Modric when he is playing, and perhaps logically the ones who can stop Real Madrid are the teams that play high pressing very well. Pressure forces Bellingham to return far, pressure forces Real Madrid to lose its natural shape. I mean, a team like Manchester City, which played in the second leg with Real Madrid, presented an ideal pressing match in the first half. You want an ideal condition so that you can beat the current Real Madrid with its current quality, with Liverpool's high pressure in its ideal condition. You want something like what Barcelona did for a full hour in El Clásico of pressure. Ideally, we did not feel the danger of Bellingham, because the whole team loses this cohesion, balance, and rotation of the ball in the opponent's final third, until the moment Bellingham enters this part, and therefore, most teams will suffer, because most teams do not press with this quality. This is a solution, and there is a second solution to resort to. Atletico Madrid has a 5-3-2 plan with three midfielders. They have defensive advantages and tactical quality and understand the world in midfield and defense. Here there was always an extra player available free of charge to monitor Bellingham, and with enough midfielders remaining to monitor the midfield behind Bellingham, this is great density, but also, when teams play with Real Madrid, they cannot change their plan, but for the Real Madrid match, problems become problems of disharmony, lack of expectation, and lack of understanding between the teams. Players and defenders in the new form. As for Atletico, they are used to this being able to defeat Real Madrid as we remember this season. This is the story of Bellingham, high quality around him, his elegance, their experience, their best advantages are diverse, you appear better, this reason, and another reason. The player is already great, smart and a player. He gets along quickly, and his personality is that of a player with 20 years of experience, not 20 years old.